Hey everyone, this is Rene from iMore.com. I am with Alex Dobie from Android Central.
Hi Rene.
Alex, this is the iPhone 5. It's been out for 6 months now. It was previously doing battle with the Galaxy S3, so what's next?
Well, this is the Galaxy S4, and this is the kind of evolution of that device. So we're seeing here something that looks a lot like the predecessor. Very, very similar design. Plastic chassis, very thin, very light. Running Android 4.1.2, Super AMOLED screen, 1080p this time around, so crazy, crazy pixel density. The latest Snapdragon 600 CPU, 2 GB of RAM. All singing, all dancing. This is probably going to be the Android device to beat for the next year.
So most of us know the iPhone 5 by now. You have a complete aluminum chassis. It is made completely out of aluminum and glass. It is thin, it is square, it is almost in every way 4-inch display, different than the Galaxy S4.
Sure, and in a lot of ways these are exact opposites in terms of the build quality at least. You've got plastic chassis on the S4, removable back cover, removable battery, and removable storage. So let's clip this back on.
None of that on the iPhone. You do have an 8 megapixel camera, which Apple somehow managed to fit into this Z-index.
Sure, we've got a slightly bulgier camera here, if you want to call it that. 13 megapixel camera on the S4, f2.2.
This is f2.4.
And a single LED flash. So if you look at the pattern very closely on here, you can see it is very shiny. We've also got this kind of reflective diamond pattern on the back of this device.
Which is not a texture, right? It's still flat.
It's kind of painted on underneath the gloss. So basically all the textures on this are kind of, essentially it's plastic underneath.
It's like a faux finish.
Yeah, and we've got metal buttons, I think, on here. Metal.
So in the front, no branding?
Yeah, you've got branding all over the place on this. Samsung up top, Galaxy S4 on the back. I believe that's only on the US versions. Of course, if you get any other carrier version, there'll be carrier brands around the back too.
So we have now the classic, we have the in-cell display. It is 640 by 1136 now, nearly 5 inches, still a Retina display, still just over 300 pixels per inch.
And on the S4, you've got a 1080p display, full HD Super AMOLED. It is a pentile sub-pixel matrix, and what that means effectively is you have 2 little dots making up each pixel as opposed to 3 little dots, a normal LCD. This high resolution you can't necessarily tell, but there is kind of an inherent weakness in AMOLED displays because you're lighting up the pixels themselves and not a backlight.
So I love the size of this display, but I love the quality of that display.
Sure, and I mean this has an inherent weakness in daylight. Yeah. But you do get very, very vibrant colors on this, and of course pitch blacks, because if it's black, you completely disable the pixel.
But it does shift slightly towards the blue.
Slightly, yes, because of the way the pixels are laid out.
So everyone pretty much knows iOS 6 by now and iCloud. Samsung, though, I was at the Galaxy S4 event. They threw almost every feature you could imagine at the wall. How do they work?
Well, Samsung already had a very feature-rich OS in their implementation of Android. So this time around, we've got all kinds of craziness that's added to the mix, and this, of course, has everything that was in the S3 as well. We have got AirView, which is a pretty quick and easy one to demo. So it can detect fingers at a distance, and if you can see,
like a laser pointer
effect on the lock screen. It also works in the Gari app. If we just bring that up for a second, we can head back to the main view, and if we're hovering over, we get a kind of a preview of what's in each.
It's like a pop. It's like a right click almost. They figured out how to do a right click with multi-touch.
It's a little bit awkward to. I mean, you see there, I touched the screen. You have to be holding it very close for it to work. Let's just.
What are your favorite? I know, for example, if you have 7 of these phones together, you can simulate 7.1 surround sound.
Exactly. Yeah, we've got. We can't demo this here because we don't have 7 Galaxy S4s.
What are some of your favorite new features from this phone?
I think for me it's kind of about the camera capabilities, and we've seen a few of the tests we've done of this today. Let's just bring up a little animated GIF that we made before.
Is that when I got brutally attacked?
It is, yeah. It's when you were attacked before by Amanda, and you can make animations out of.
It's like a Vine almost.
It kind of is, yeah, and it saves it as a GIF file, so it's really easy to share, and it's really cool. It's very easy to do. We made this in about 10 seconds. So that's really neat.
A lot of people have called this almost like an Apple phone because it's really a Samsung Galaxy S3S more than a 4. Is that fair?
I mean, it's an incremental update, right?
Yeah.
So it's
we know all about those.
Yeah, I mean, it's different in more ways than say the 4 to the 4S, right? It's not exactly the same design, but the profile is very much the same. The footprint is the same. Of course, you have a larger screen.
Yeah.
But if you look at the software, certainly it's essentially the Galaxy S3 software with some extra features thrown in there.
Now, I'm going to go on record and say that I do not like this as much as the HTC One. I think that is this year's better Android phone.
I think if you're looking in terms of build quality, certainly HTC has the aluminium frame going for it, whereas this is very much plastic.
Yeah.
This, I think, is a little bit more ergonomic than the HTC One. So it fits very nicely in the hand. With the HTC One, you've got a bit more bezel. With this, it's effectively as much screen as you're going to fit in this size.
Well, I think the HTC One is better, but this is the phone everyone's going to buy.
Sure, I mean, Samsung has a massive marketing budget to burn. You can bet you're going to be seeing a lot of ads for this in the weeks and months ahead.
So that was the iPhone 5.
This was the Galaxy S4.
For more comparisons, for more information about both these products, stay tuned to iMore.com
and AndroidCentral.com.